The couple were fooling around in the restroom. Suddenly a student knocked on the bathroom door. Ellie was startled. She hurriedly pushed John away, but at that moment their bodies felt as if they were glued together with superglue. They were tightly stuck to each other. Even the slightest movement caused intense pain. They used all their strength along with unbearable pain. They finally managed to separate their bodies. Ellie was furious. At that moment there was another knock at the door. In order not to be discovered by others, Ellie quickly adjusted her clothes. Then she walked out while enduring the pain. However, she had no idea that this was only the beginning. A few days earlier, Ellie and John were hiking. Suddenly heavy rain poured down from the sky. Just as they were looking for shelter from the rain, John accidentally fell into a deep pit. Ellie rushed forward to pull him up. However, because she was not strong enough, she was pulled down as well. Fortunately, the pit was not very deep. They were not injured. Looking at the heavy rain outside, John decided to wait until the rain stopped before climbing out. But soon they felt extremely thirsty. At that moment, John noticed a pool of water inside the pit. He did not think much about it and drank it directly. The next day after the rain stopped, they prepared to leave the pit. But at that moment, John suddenly realized that their legs were stuck together. They were extremely shocked. However, Ellie believed it was caused by mold in the cave, so they did not take it seriously. After that, they climbed out of the pit and went home. But strange things began to happen. One day, John was getting ready to attend a friend's gathering. After Ellie dropped him off at the station, she drove away. However, as Ellie left, John suddenly became extremely restless. In order to ease his emotions, John hurriedly ate a jelly bean, but it had no effect at all. He could still feel intense anxiety and dizziness. John walked weakly along the road, as if moving fast enough would allow him to catch up to Ellie's disappearing figure. Meanwhile, Ellie was in class. Suddenly she saw John weakly walk into the school. Ellie quickly ran out of the building and pulled John into the restroom. She asked him what had happened, but at that moment John appeared extremely agitated. He had no idea why he felt this way. However, while they were arguing, their bodies felt as if they were glued together with superglue. They were tightly stuck together. Even the slightest movement caused intense pain. They used all their strength, along with unbearable pain. They finally managed to separate. This strange incident made John extremely uneasy. He thought about what happened when they first left the pit. John suspected that these abnormalities were related to that strange cave. After returning home, John carefully searched for information about the cave. However, at that moment, a loud bang suddenly came from the room. John was so frightened that he collapsed to the ground. He cautiously stepped forward to check, only to find that Ellie was actually stuck to the door. As John moved, Ellie also began to move. Then she opened the door and stuck directly onto John. John was terrified.